the GSL Code S. It's time for the winner's match to decide who will move on to the round of 16.
That is correct. And Bunny plays against Classic. Bunny really kind of dismantling Deer in a similar way that we saw Classic dismantle Time. So that was a bit of a surprise as everyone's been talking up a big game about Deer.
Yeah, Bunny included in those players, saying this guy is really good.
Yeah.
So maybe Bunny's hit the next level. We'll find out, though, if that's good enough to take on Classic, a GSL Code S champion.
Yeah, I think that Classic, he's definitely a very different player from Deer, and I have some confidence in him here, especially seeing Bunny play those games. Bunny is playing the way Bunny plays, like that 2 tanks in the medevac to bring it across the map.
He's been doing that for a while.
Yeah. So, I mean, Classic should have already had this in the back of his mind as something that could happen. He's seen it reinforced, that's definitely within the Bunny playbook. So he's going to have builds that are more prepared for this, I think.
Game number 1 will be on the map, Proxima Station. Classic, looking out of everybody that we've had today with the cleanest play, but Bunny has definitely improved. Let's find out who wins.
You could tell them that you tried, but there ain't no going back. They'll never catch
me. In the bottom left, in the blue, he is.
Game paused.
Oh my God, he's game paused.
That's a sick ID.
That's crazy. We did not see that coming.
And then when you beat someone that's ID is game paused, you're like, I unpaused that game, bro. I'm like, what? You're an unpauser? Like, no. I'm just saying in a fancy way that I beat this player.
Yeah. Okay, let's try this again.
Classic.
Again, PSA, if you unpause on the StarCraft 2 ladder, you are trash.
Oh my God, why do people do that?
They do.
Especially when you do it in a high rank game. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Bunny.
Well, I don't think the rank even has anything to do with it. It's just like if you unpause, you're terrible.
No,
and
but
sometimes
the point I'm trying to make is if you get high enough rank, you know how much hard work you have to put in. You know how much each game matters. The fact that people unpause at like very high rank points, you know.
And you know what?
I guess if they're gone for more than 10 minutes, then I don't know what to do.
Oh,
but,
no.
Yeah.
Agreed on that. But like if you're like, please pause, and like you literally are just trying to pause and you just keep on pausing. When that happens to me, I tweet, and it always shocks me. There'll be 2-3 guys that will tweet back at me and be like, no, man, that's not my fault that you have to pause.
Oh,
and
that's
I'm like, okay,
unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, no, that's unreal. And the people who think that are stupid and bad people.
Yeah, they are bad. They're ruining ladder experiences.
Well,
and not in the right way where you wreck them. It's like...
Because it's like, okay, if I'm in the same room, will you do that? Oh, you won't? Okay, well, this is a weird break in the way you think about the world. What if you are playing a sport with someone? They're like, oh, wait, hold on one second. They have to tie their shoe.
Yeah.
You're like, no! And you run past them and shoot the basketball.
Touchdown!
It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're... What? Whoa!
No, that's just unreal. I can't even. I had no idea that people tweeted back to you trying to actually defend that.
No, it's really shocking.
That
shows
crazy.
The erosion of the character of humans. Okay.
Yes.
The greatest generation is gone, Tasis, and this is what we're left with.
People that
think you can unpause.
You know when you're playing a game and there's about to be a fight and the doorbell rings because there's a package and you're house sitting somebody's dog and the dog is going crazy and you pause and then when you're halfway across the room they unpause, you run back and pause and they unpause.
Dude, it happens.
And then your stuff is dying and you're busy cursing them out and the doorbell's rung a second time.
Every few weeks, man, I'll have a game like that.
Yeah.
And it is the worst.
That's unreal.
By the way, both these guys are searching for proxies so hard.
Yeah, and there's nothing to be found.
Like, yeah, well, the Proxima, it's a good name for it, Proxima, because there are so many proxy locations that, like, if you only have one probe out searching for them and you search in the wrong direction, look at this. Even this dude is looking. He's like, is there a factory over here? Because if you don't find it and there is one, and your Oracle's across the map, and it's like Widow Mines and a medevac, like you're dead. It's so like there's like 6 mines in your base, and you have one revelation.
Crazy, yeah.
So yeah, I can understand why Classic is looking for this, but Bunny's playing like a normal game, so all this scouting for naught.
Let's see if Bunny tries to hide the Widow Mine anywhere fancy. Classic is one of the players we have seen occasionally fly into Widow Mines. You were saying earlier he's definitely defensive a little bit more with the Oracles,
Yeah,
but even him, we've seen him lose occasionally to something that was unnecessary.
Everyone will fly an Oracle into a Widow Mine occasionally, but out of every top pro, Classic keeps his Oracles at home by far the most.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Well, it's really funny because when we first saw the Oracles being made, whenever we were cast, we would always point out, oh, he's getting Oracles because he wants to go and kill SCVs, where I don't really feel like that's the main role of the Oracle anymore, unless it's proxied or something.
Right.
The main role of the Oracle is really to tag the army later on.
Yeah, that's like one of the most...
And to tag Widow Mines and things like that.
You force, like a turret in each line and stuff. Like, it does all sorts of cool stuff. It does great scouting and all these things. You get a couple SCVs here and there. But I would definitely agree with you. They just don't do the damage that they used to. It's like quite a few units are like that over time as well.
Okay, Oracle continuing to fly around. Ooh, almost gets that Marine. Maybe overstayed his welcome a little bit, though. 28 HP remaining on that Oracle.
Bit of globetrotting going on right there. 3 SCVs and some other damage in there as well. Mines being moved around a bit, and of course the third Nexus being gotten extremely quickly here for Classic just off of his Oracles. Let's see what he gets for upgrades here. He did go for the double Oracle. Will he go into Phoenix Adept? Definitely a big possibility there. Last time we saw him do an opening like this, that is where he went with it. If he chooses to go like Charge or something, specifically against Bunny, that can be very good.
Yeah.
Because he does like Siege Tank timing attacks. Okay, it's going to be +1 in Blink. And when you go 2 Oracles, that's the more common one, which is part of why I felt like Time was attacking, because I actually thought it was going to be Blink and Glaives, because like you see 2 Oracles, you're like, oh, okay. And in fact, that's a build pioneered by Deer, for anyone who is wondering.
Oh,
ooh, that
kind of
was
funny. I didn't even realize that was there. One of the older spots to hide Widow Mines, just above the refinery. Very hard for the Protoss player to catch that. Then again, the Protoss player doesn't have to go in there with the Oracle either.
Nope.
As much as Protoss players might want to complain, oh my gosh, that's such BS that I lost that. You don't have to go skim around the edge of their base.
You're right.
Not really. And by the way, this means he does not get the initial tag on the Medivacs, which means that Terran actually is going to have a lot of leverage with this push.
Yeah, this push is really super cool.
Wait. Oh, never mind.
Like, to have 3 mines in there and, like, 2 SCVs as well as 2 Siege Tanks is really awesome. And he's playing against someone who went Blink first, which makes it harder to engage this. A lot of times what you want to do is have some stasis wards down and be out here with your Stalkers poking this and slowing it down. But he's sitting in his choke. So that just makes the overall hold harder. Like, once you're actually in position and it's Blink and nothing else for upgrades, the Blink doesn't do that well against Siege Tanks.
Okay. Siege Tanks are up, and the Widow Mines are in actually quite a good position, making a bunker here. Bunny is committed.
Yeah.
Let's see if Protoss tries to engage in this next warp in 10 seconds till Blink is done.
But what does Blink do against this? Look at this.
I don't think it does
bunker.
much of anything.
You can't Blink on the Siege Tanks. He's going to siege up these Liberators. This could just be a straight kill on this third base. This is really difficult to break.
2 bunkers, and look at the Liberator placement. This is pretty bad. It looks like he found those 4 Marines that were actually stuck behind a 3-dimensional doodad on the map.
He's sending his Stalkers out.
He wants to
disagree with this.
He wants to get reinforcements, but the amount of damage that's coming out. If Terran decides to stim and try to kill everything over here,
he just has to back up his ramp. He can't hold this.
No.
Which means he'll probably end up losing the Robo as well. That's painful.
If he actually okay, hold up. He's right under liberation zones, but there are too many Stalkers there. I'm not clear on the HP of the remaining units, but I think, okay, never mind. There's absolutely no way that he's going to get that.
So this is a bop.
On fire.
This
might be a boop. A boop, yeah. Yeah, I think he just totally got bopped. I think he wanted to try to put some pressure on here, but this might just end the game. And look at this. He's going to pick up and go around, knowing that the air army here is totally weakened up. And it's going to be a long travel distance, especially with Adepts and Immortals and what have you, that I think this drop is going to get a lot of workers and possibly unpower both of these pylons that are powering these gateways.
The army's out of position. Look, he's even poking.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
he's trying to get his screen in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
We have okay, he's going for everything right here, right now, as in a counter.
Damn, man. Guess Bunny's not going to lose to a foreigner because he's not going to play him.
Oh, yeah.
He's like looking very poised to get out in first place here.
Okay, a pickup. Trying to loop back around. Now we have the Warpers coming up here. The problem is that Classic is taking so much damage before Classic's plan is even unfolded. Oh, no!
Man.
Wow. Widow Mine's also coming down now as well. SCV's pulled. The SCV is totally expendable at this point in time, considering that, well, actually, excuse me, you know what? Protoss is actually in lower workers than Terran is. That's kind of funny. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Well, I guess he just lost so many SCVs at the third base and the drop. And just, I mean, a lot of things have gone wrong so far for Classic in this game. He's trying to put on enough pressure to get something done, but
I think there's nowhere that basically Protoss can effectively mine from.
Yeah. The little contain outside his base, he's not getting closer to killing.
Bunny takes game one. I got to say, Bunny has completely proved me wrong today.
Yeah, he's playing super well.
He's doing an awesome job.
Some of these underdogs coming back in Season 3 with a real vengeance. We see Patience win his group. Bunny right now on the verge of it. Very strong game right there. Of course, let's not forget, there was an Oracle killed very early. He did go into that kind of standard blink play, but he was not actually out slowing the army down, but he got into a great position. He hid the fact he was going tanks as best he could, right? Like, he puts the tanks in his medevacs the second they pop out. He's trying to make it mysterious as to what his build is. So we might see Classic vary his strategy here. Like, for instance, Charge Phoenix would be a perfect counter to something like this.
We are going into map number 2 on Odyssey. Let's see what Classic decides to do. Bunny is winning these games, and it's not as if he's got some kind of trick up his sleeve. He's basically bigger, faster, stronger than his opponents.
He's playing well.
His pushes are scary. He knows when to engage. He knows when to disengage. And it's working for him just fine so far. If Classic doesn't turn this around, Bunny's going to be the first player to escape to the round of 16.
You could tell them that you tried, but there ain't no going back.
In the upper left, in the blue, our Protoss player. He is
Classic.
in the bottom right, in the red, our Terran player. He is
Bunny.
Never heard Bunny said in a more badass fashion.
Bunny.
Yeah. You know,
hold up. Hold up.
A little bit of proxying going on here. Scout going to go right by there. So a proxy Reaper is the opening. Will he proxy a factory also?
Well, we don't see a second SCV on the map. So far it's just one barracks in the middle.
Yeah. And he gets a second gas. He will be going into a factory after this, which is not hard to guess. Now, Deer has his probe here. So, like, while Proxy Reaper can get some things done, the probe is going to have the job of watching to see if a factory is made in the main base. That is, like, the most important thing for him. He'll make a Zealot here, make sure that he can defend against a Reaper without losing probes. You know, probably go into a Mothership core quickly. But the probe, like, he has to keep it alive, you know, which is not really that hard. Just keep it alive, see what's going on, because if there's a proxy factory, that's crazy all in.
David Kim spotted in the audience.
4 players of each race in the next round already. David Kim is the man.
He did it
who
again.
has caused this.
That's right.
Even not working on StarCraft 2 anymore. The game's still in a perfect state of balance.
Absolutely. Well, do you think this thing that Bunny's doing is going to... Is it going to pay off? Is it going to work? He didn't end up proxying the... Excuse me, he didn't end up proxying the factory.
And he didn't see the factory, so...
Yeah. So there's actually a lot of ambiguity about what's going on here.
Now, the Reaper scouts the Stargate right away, so that's definitely very useful. I'm very surprised he's not looking harder for this factory.
I know.
This is like the main... Because if you think that there's a factory near you, then you play completely different than if you know that the factory's in the main base. If there's a factory near you, you have to stand like one base. You have to make a bunch of units. You have to get out there and stop him from getting near you with whatever he's making.
The most important thing that Classics also, that he has seen is the lack of a command center at the natural.
Yes.
He's still... This is Oh, okay, never mind. He is going to see the probe over there. I was going to say that it's basically unacceptable at this level of play to let a probe just hide in your main.
Yeah. And he's going to have a Cyclone coming out. Look, he still doesn't know about any of the tech in here. I mean, eventually the Cyclone will come out and kill this, right? Okay, now he knows. Now he knows. But at this point, he's made like 3 gates. Does he really need 3 gates right now against Cyclones being rallied from that far away? I feel like he'd rather have a Nexus, but I guess he'll make that at this point. So, I mean, looking at
this... Is this not safe, by the way, for Protoss to do? Should Protoss not make a Nexus? It seems like Terran's really powering up on one base, and usually the one way you can lose is somebody who's doing that is to get a little bit too greedy with acquiring minerals and gas.
I know what you mean, but I would say, yeah, he can squeeze the Nexus right now. Like, the attack will still be scary, but if he doesn't go for it, it's like you're just going to be sitting here on one base, and you're not going to be able to get any more technicality. Like, because the factory's over there, the rally of it is not so quick that you're really that scared between his flying units and using high ground and slowing him down across the map. I think that this is the best choices to make a Nexus.
Look at this. The Reaper's going to get up here. Looks like the Phoenix might be able to just pick him up. Hope you're afraid of heights. Enjoy your nosebleed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Liberator's coming out now. Now, never mind. It is going to be an all-out push. For a second, I thought he was just going to harass with the Liberator, and I thought that's a little bit strange. He probably should just bring his whole army there.
He is making a command center behind. Now, a few Cyclones coming.
And the Cyclones are the unit that really makes this scary, to be honest.
There's plenty of units here, though, for Classic, so it looks like he should be fine. Chasing down that Liberator. Everything going to go over to help it out.
Okay, but there's enough Phoenixes. He can slowly pick up each of these units. It's kind of awkward because none of these Cyclones are going to die while in air. But, yeah, it works out. That was actually, I thought that was going to go better for Bunny, but I think the opportunity to counterattack is so strong right now for Classic, he has to go for it.
Yeah, like, he's going across the map. He's going to mix it up a bit and see what he can get done. That was a lot of units to kind of sacrifice, not really doing much. I'm not sure what he thought he was going to do with, like, what could Classic have made that would have just rolled over?
Hindsight's always 20/20, right? I was actually pretty sure that that was going to do more damage, otherwise he wouldn't have even moved out with it. But now we see Classic coming in here, and honestly, there's just not really enough of anything Terran-wise to help out.
Yeah, definitely is some real damage being dealt, like killing a ton of army, and now SCV's even falling.
I think actually Classic just wins the game.
Well, he definitely gives himself a
1-2 punch. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, he's right over production. Anything that comes out is going to get picked up.
Liberator popping out here. He's going to try to bring his SCVs out to kill things. Eventually, the Phoenixes will run out of lifts, but even so, like, this is a lot of damage.
GG. We're tied up 1-1. Okay, that happened.
Yeah.
Kind of an odd game. I don't think Bunny's going to go for a build like that again. I think Bunny needs to stick to standard games, doing his kind of patented Bunny push where he has the 2 tanks in the medevac, comes out with about 2 Widow Mines, his Marines, everything else.
Yeah.
Eventually, Liberators come into play. That's going to be the play. I think that's going to allow him to move on to the round of 16. Not the fancy stuff like what he did in the last game.
You know, this is something that Bunnies have generally had a hard time with. Slow and steady wins the race.
That's right.
You know, you can't run fast and take a nap at the end. And that's what, well, we didn't see it that game, but, you know, Bunnies in general, right?
Okay, we're going to go to game number 3. Our map is going to be Ascension to IR.
Bunny really looking to close this one out. I think, you know, Classic, even if he loses here, still has a decently good chance. I guess both these guys really do with the way they've been playing today.
Well, these are definitely the 2 players that are giving us the cleanest games today. It's all going to come down to one more game. One player moves on. The other goes on to our final best of 3. Let's see who it is.
You could tell them that you tried, but there ain't no going back. They'll never catch me.
In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
Classic.
in the upper left, in the red. He is.
Bunny.
Not going to be choosing to proxy this game.
Well, I think that's the right choice. If he proxied a guy in this game, I would be very surprised. So he's going to go, at least for now, from what we can tell, for a pretty standard game. It is classic that's sending out the probe immediately. Try to figure out, okay, what exactly is Bunny up to?
Yeah. It's nothing too weird out of him. Should be a Reaper expansion. Slightly later gas than what we've seen from him so far today. Just going to give him slightly more mineral boost. Really unsure of who's going to be able to take this. I mean, both of them have looked very good, and both of them have looked a bit off as well.
Yeah, well, I actually think it's going to be Bunny. I'm completely changing my mindset from when I came in here. I think Bunny's actually shown overall the best games. I think that last game was a little bit technical. It was kind of weird what Classic did and did not see. But it seems like the build that Bunny picked was almost him getting too fancy. I think he had won 3 games in a row. And then thought he was unstoppable and did this weird strategy, and it was completely shut down.
Okay. I can't completely disagree with that, but I'm going to go with Classic Tasteless because the Proxima game specifically, it was a tank push against Blink, and this is something we've talked about a lot in the past, where Blink openings in general became less popular as the tank got buffed because Blink doesn't do anything against tanks.
Yeah.
Blink is good against things that don't have more range,
right,
or things that you can blink on top of. And against an entrenched push, you just cannot. And Proxima specifically, that third base, Terran can set up outside, and it's a very small choke. You don't have a lot of maneuverability. So I look at that game, and I say, ooh, that was a tough matchup in a lot of ways there, strategy-wise, as well as, just the map for Classic. So I think here on a more open map, a build like that for Bunny is not going to be nearly as strong, and Classic has more counterplay potential.
Okay.
And those are my thoughts.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So we have the Robo coming up now. Really, Classic is the one player who's showing us that he's completely fine not going for Stargate all the time.
Yeah. Will it be one of these 4-gate plays again? Not so sure.
Could be.
Oh, could be. Has that Mothership core out as well. There's been kind of like an increase in Cyclone pushes and things like that early on. Like, even time we saw him do Cyclone with 2 landed Vikings, which was kind of neat. 2 Cyclones, 2 Vikings. But in general, like, a build like this is kind of good against that. You know, you have a Mothership core and a Robo. Nothing's going to kill you early, that's for sure.
Cyclone's a funny unit because it took everybody so long to figure out how to use it.
Yeah.
In these different ways. And, when we first saw the Cyclone come out, people were losing their minds. It looked so strong. But then it seemed to have this really odd role where you'd make one of them and kind of hold off stuff. And then people started pushing with him. And then eventually we have Gumiho where he's made like 20 of them and he's coming out.
It's funny, too, because it's been changed so many times. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, for instance, in the beta, the early beta of Legacy of the Void, the Cyclone was literally the most imbalanced thing ever made in StarCraft 2, which is crazy to say because the Warhound was in the Heart of the Swarm beta. But Cyclone would have destroyed Warhound. In fact, one would have killed 10 of them because that's just, it was like crazy. But, yeah, at this point, like, it's kind of in this spot where you can use it or you can't, and, like, we definitely see different levels of how people use it, like skill-wise. So it's neat. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, Warp Prism is now out, and he's going to go right into Disruptor.
Yeah, Disruptor drops. Definitely been gaining a bit of popularity.
This is a concept similar to the Brood War Reaver drop, excuse me.
Yeah.
The idea is that you can abuse the fact that so much damage should come out so quickly. The only major difference, though, is that you can't chuck the Disruptor out, pick it up while the animation's still coming out.
Yeah,
to
that
connect,
is true.
whereas with the Reaver, you can. Once a Scarab fires, it's an independent object in the game.
I guess the Disruptor has like more potential to die but you can cancel its shot and pick it up and stuff.
Yeah, there's more features that allow you to manipulate it during the drop, which is interesting.
And it does like more damage than a Scarab, although the cooldown is quite a bit longer. So yeah, I mean it does have a lot to do with Reaver drops, though. It's like very fun to use.
And let me tell you something,
like
guys. I think one of the first things that really changed StarCraft 1 as an RTS was when people started dropping Reavers.
Tasteless.
Here we go!
Jeez. Units lost, please. 4 Marines and 5 SCVs, 1 Disruptor Shaw. That is gigantic.
As we were saying earlier, when Brood War just came out, and people figured out that you can actually pick up a Reaver, drop it somewhere, fire, and then run away. It was a game changer.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That was the first thing in StarCraft history where people were like, oh my god, that it didn't occur to me that you could combo those two units together.
And actually, extremely early on, they had to patch us. You could just pick it up and drop it over and over, and it would shoot scarabs.
Oh, that's
like
right.
A machine gun.
It reset. It reset the cooldown.
Yeah.
And actually, that was Slayer's Boxer. A lot of people don't know this. Started out playing Protoss. The moment that they patched that, he stopped playing Protoss and switched to Terran.
Wow.
Crazy stuff. But you can see it now used here. I think, well, for a lot of people, when they saw it being used in StarCraft 2, people that weren't familiar with StarCraft 1 were caught off guard. But it's really smart. Okay, here we go. A drop now down here. Is that going to get burrowed in time? Looks like it is.
Wow.
Oh, how
Dropping
funny
the
is this?
all around this.
Does that work?
Well, he bruised the Colossus, and then he gets
I can't
away,
believe
so
this.
I guess it's okay.
I never thought in a million years that would work.
Yeah, you don't see that every day. Dropping Marines onto a Colossus.
Okay, going to try to just stay behind where the pylon is, or out of range, I should say. Any workers he can get is going to be worth it. Look at Bunny. He's so good.
Yeah.
Is that Widowmine still in the main?
It had to have been cleaned. We would have seen probe deaths by now.
Oh, good point.
Not sure how he cleaned it, but maybe it.
Okay, so this drop is just doing way more than we thought it was ever going to do.
It's definitely keeping him very busy with it.
The phone,
Oops.
Artie.
What?
Terran's pushing out.
Okay, and is it this double siege tank push?
Well, I see one tank. I'm assuming that's a tank inside the medevac.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, I guess it could be like a Cyclone, right?
Seems like if he just got a third command center, it would not be a good time to try to attack out.
Yeah.
It seems counterintuitive since you've already invested enough minerals into.
Well, especially with the tech that he's fighting against, a slightly larger tank push can be good against this type of stuff, but the fact that you have a Disruptor and you have Colossus out makes it a little bit tough to break through there. You know, your Marines are not going to hold up as well against this. Another drop coming down by Bunny. Classic runs into that, though.
Okay. Looks like we have a few skirmishes here in the middle of the map. Right now, Protoss is continuing to increment out Colossi while getting Blink. Terran is finally entering the phase where Liberators are a real thing. I'm not sure really who pushes who. There seems to be some ambiguity about, if anybody could actually be ahead right now.
Yeah.
So I think they're sticking right now to these little harasses and pokes, hoping they can shave off a few units here and there and maybe ebb out an advantage.
And it looks like Classic wants to harass a little bit here. It looks like he brought a probe over to make some proxy pylons, and he has his Warp Prism. But without that Warp Prism to help out against this push, I think this fourth gets canceled for sure. This push is too strong for that little army. If you have a Disruptor, you can screw with the math a lot. But
well, especially against tanks, because then Protoss can actually stay back and start to really do damage there. So great shutdown. Okay, there's apparently a little push coming in over here. Oh my god. 1 HP on that. Boom.
Oops. It's kind of crazy. Okay, a couple Liberators being sieged
he
up
needs
here.
to get out of those liberation zones.
Oh man, targeting down the Liberators. Okay, gets him and blinks out, so that was actually very good. Without the Liberators, this loses a lot of its punch. Now with the Warp Prism coming back.
He might have seen that. If Terran can intercept that, it's going to be huge. Right now, tanks trying to siege up in siege mode. Great blink in here, targeting down the remaining tanks.
Ooh, and the Disruptor even gaining some value there, pushing everything back. He cleans this up pretty darn well, keeps his 3 Colossi alive and a whole hell of a lot of Stalkers. So a great hold here by Classic, who now goes into charge and has 2 Forges. So everything looking really nice for Classic.
Okay, here comes another Disruptor drop. Let's see if it connects. Nicely done. 3 kills. And the Warp Prism gets out unscathed. Adepts coming in here now. They might get more kills than that Disruptor did if these Marines don't get over there in time.
Wow. A decent amount of damage dealt there as well. One of the mines still kept alive there somehow. Another Disruptor drop coming
doing
up.
A great job. If he... Okay. That was kind of an odd sequence there.
Yep. Certainly not an M. Canning Disruptor drop there. But,
absolutely not.
A bunch of medevacs going for a counter drop. Not much in the main base. Looks like he realizes that something is on the way, though he has an observer out there watching.
Hold up. There might not be enough to defend this drop over here in the main. But Bunny decides to think twice about that and turns around.
Yeah, that was...
I thought there wasn't enough, and then we moved the screen up, and I saw a lot of Stalkers and Colossi over there.
He actually scanned the main and what was coming up to the main.
Oh,
so that
did you see it? Okay.
Yeah, that was a good call by him, seeing the rest of those units. If those weren't there, he would have dropped and killed a lot. But Classic's army movements so far this game have been very good. His spotting out in the middle has been pretty reasonable as well, because he saw that coming. If he didn't have that observer there, that drop in the main could have killed a lot.
Oh my God, he's going to get the Warp Prism finally. Okay, so there's no longer a threat of harass, at least for the time being here for Classic. That may put Classic a little bit more on the defensive. At the same time, it's not totally clear if Bunny really wants to try to initiate. He does have enough Liberators that he can pick a fight. The combo of Liberators and Widow Mines is going to be a scary thing for the Protoss. But I don't know where. Does he want to actually push the main? This is an interesting angle he's coming from.
Yeah, I don't think he can really push anywhere. It's 3 Colossus plus Psystorm and 2/2 upgrades for Protoss. Like, this is a fantastic army for Classic. It seems like this is the one way you might be able to do something is a lot of Liberators sieging up. But look at this. Blinks forward.
Great
Storm's going down.
However, this odd angle that Terran's at, he still has a concave. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I guess he did.
The Storms, though, comboed with the Colossus and the Stalkers, I think Protoss can keep pushing.
Yeah, with
what
Storm just really wrecks everything. It flies over the army there, trying to tank some damage for the rest. I don't know. But just Bunny's army being completely devastated. He's got almost nothing left.
I don't think he should have come at that angle. That was suicidal. There's no way he could get a favorable setup there.
Once Protoss has both Psystorm and 4 Colossus, you can't attack with an army like that. Like, you need Liberator range or at least Ghosts in your army against double splash damage. I mean, you're going to be absolutely wrecked.
I think this is the beginning of the end, Artosis.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that. This attack should be able to kill...
GG. Classic does it. He's the first to advance to the round of 16. Is anybody really surprised, though?
No. Classic got top 4 last season. I mean, he's in great shape. Only Sue really outclassing him in this last season.
That's right.
Very top-end Protoss at the moment. Definitely wants to get back to BlizzCon. This guy is a multiple-time top 4 player at BlizzCon. The Wind Toss himself advancing in first place tonight.
Bunny reflecting on that loss back there. I think he's still got a good shot of getting out of this group, but
yeah,
you know, that was a tough series.
Classic talking to Deer. He's like, see, Deer, that's how you beat Bunny. You just do what I did when you play against him, and you'll beat him too, and you can also be a Wind Toss.
Yeah, there you go.
So he's saying, I can lip read really well.
Yeah, you're very good.
He said that all in English, and Deer is just like, what?
Shortly here, we'll be having an interview with Classic and see how he's feeling. Now that he's the first to advance in the second to last group in the round of 32, he's made it to the round of 16. It's a pretty fearsome round of 16 at that, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
All those guys, and then there's also Hurricane, but everybody else is pretty damn scary.
We'll see how Hurricane does.
오늘 지조의 첫 번째 16강 진출자 김도우 선수입니다. 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Classic is the first player to advance the round of 16. Congratulations. He says thank you.
올라가게 됐습니다. 먼저 소감 어떠세요?
네, 우선 오늘 연습을 많이
How do you
하고
feel
와서
advancing to the round of 16?
자신감이 있었는데
Well, I trained really hard.
진출하게 되어서 너무
I
다행이고
felt pretty
기쁘네요.
good coming to the studio.
지난 시즌 아쉬웠던
I feel a
4강
great amount of relief now that I've
다시
managed to come out
돌아와서 이렇게
first.
좋은 모습 보여주시니까 많은 분들이 좋아하실 것 같아요. 그 이후로
Previously, you were
어떤
eliminated in
시간
the
보내셨는지.
semifinals last year, or last season.
사실 저번 시즌에 굉장히 기대를
How did you
많이
feel
하고
after that?
있었는데 윤수아 때 떨어진 이후로 한동안 좀
I had really high expectations for myself.
멘탈을 회복하는 데 집중했고 근데 뭐 지금은 시즌 3고
Since I was eliminated in the round of 4,
이번에 못하게 되면
it was
블리즈컨을 못 가기
a
때문에
crushing disappointment.
집중해서 시즌 3를 노리고
So I
있습니다.
had to take a little bit of time off, pull myself back
우승을
together.
목표로 하고 계시겠네요.
And by the way, I have to get great results in this GSL.
네, 우승을 하고 싶네요.
The goal for this season for
요즘
me
또 SSL
is nothing more,
프리미어에서도
nothing other than
장승 중이시고 이렇게
first
요즘
place.
더 좋아지신 폼에 대해서 일각에서는 행갱 파워라고도
Classic, it seems
이야기하기도
like
하는데
you've been
요즘
playing really
폼이
well
어때요?
in other tournaments.
요새 아까
How do you evaluate
말했다시피
yourself
시즌
today?
3를 못하게 되면 블리즈컨을 못 가기 때문에
네.
정말
Like I
블리즈컨에
said,
가고 싶어가지고 굉장히 열심히 하고 있어서 그런지
네.
좀 실력이 돌아온 것 같아서
My attitude is I have to break the best results possible in this season so I can make it to BlizzCon.
해주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
So I'm putting
네.
so much effort into that.
예전 이 참교 코너에서는
Also, I hope my fans
밸런스에
are really
대해서
cheering for me, and I
불만이
hope they have high
있으신 듯한
expectations for
모습을
me as
보이기도
well.
하셨는데 그때
네.
또 푸징징이란 또 일각에서는 그런
It
선수들의
seems like you've been
주장도
complaining a lot
있었거든요.
about balance lately.
그런
뭐
발언에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하세요?
징징이 아니고 사실을
You're one of those
말한
Protoss that whines a lot about balance. He says, I'm not whining.
저는 그냥
I'm just
괜찮은
speaking
것
the
같은데
truth.
저그전이 좀 힘들다 보니까
네.
예, 저그전이 좀 아직까지도
I think it's a
힘든 것
Protoss
같네요.
against Terran,
오늘
it's
승리는
okay.
그런
But against Zerg,
밸런스에도
it's really
불구하고
hard.
숨길 수 없는 실력인 건가요?
예, 뭐 클래스 차이도 있었고 그리고 오늘은 뭐 저그를 안 만났기 때문에 좀 수월하게 올라갔고 16강부터가
Since we don't have any Zergs in my group,
조심해야 될 것 같아요.
it made it a little bit easier for me.
저그전이 과연
But
나올
still,
수 있을지 또
the round of
기대를
16, I got to be
해보겠습니다.
careful and avoid
자,
the
김도우
Zergs.
선수 계속해서 이번 시즌에 우승에 도전하고 있다 말씀해 주셨는데요. 마지막으로 팬들에게 한마디
So
들어보세요.
Classic keeps saying,
네, 저번
his
시즌에
goal is to get first
아쉽게
place. What do you have to say to your
떨어져가지고
fans?
저도 그렇고 팬분들도 굉장히 아쉬워했을 텐데 이번에는
I was really disappointed in myself last season, and I know my fans are disappointed as well.
감사합니다.
I'm going to do my
다시 한번
best to
축하드립니다.
go all the
네,
way and
감사합니다.
become a champion this
네.
time.
자,
Thank you
이렇게
guys so
이번
much.
G조의 첫 번째 진출자
Alright, that does
프로토스
it
기사체 김도우
for
선수와 이야기해봤는데요.
our
계속해서
winner
GSL의
interview.
더 월드
But
최종 명단
We are not
확인해보겠습니다.
done with tonight just yet. By the way, here is a little reminder of the GSL versus the World, which is just around the corner.
It's going to be.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting stuff. Look at all the different countries we have for the world. That's like basically all the countries in the world. I know there's like one or two. Australia's not there, but basically everywhere else is there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we got everything that matters. USA, Canada, and Mexico. So those are the ones that I know. Right?
Yeah.
And
All right.
I went to Poland this year, so yeah, we got Poland in
They
there.
count too. Sorry, Finland.
I don't know where Finland's at, but I mean, you know.
This
I think
is the
that's
schedule.
a city in Poland, but
This is the schedule for the GSL versus the World. It's going Thursday all the way to Sunday. Then we have a special venue for you guys to come down to on that final day. I cannot wait.
yeah, that's going to be a great tournament indeed. But we still have more Code S tonight and on Saturday. Don't turn it off.
We're going to a break. We'll be back soon.